In this video, we fly over 25,000 miles on three of the world's most well-known and respected full-service airlines. How will they measure up, and what dramas did we have during and after our flights? In 2024, Skytrax acknowledged Qatar Airways as the world's best airline. EVA Air was in 8th, while Air New Zealand, which 14 years ago was ranked 7th, slipped down even further from its 19th spot in 2023 to 22nd in 2024. But each of these airlines has its strengths and weaknesses, so we will compare them all. We flew Air New Zealand domestically from Palmerston North to Auckland, New Zealand, and then from Auckland to Brisbane, Australia. From there we connected long haul on EVA Air to Taipei, and then on to Bangkok and the long leg to London. We flew Qatar Airways from Madrid to Doha, and then the world's third longest flight from Doha to Auckland at around 16 hours. On the way, we also got to check out some amazing airports and lounges, and we'll fill you in on all the details. Watch as the final leg of our journey unravels badly. So let's get on a plane together. All right, here we are at Palmerston North Airport, and we are arriving for our domestic flight connection up to Auckland. That'll be the beginning of our big trip today. We tried to check in online, but again we had some issues with that. So we're going to get some assistance here and do a complete check through, hopefully all the way to Bangkok. We had a really complicated check-in process. They couldn't find our bookings as being connected together, but we've managed to make our way through that. We'll be getting on one of these ATR 600s in a bit. But right now, we're heading off to the airport lounge to relax a little. So here is airport lounge number 1. While Elizabeth and Grace play 5 crowns, I'll sample a 0% beer and some snacks at just after midday.
There was very limited selection today. The hash browns are okay, the harissa sauce is delicious, but the cheese rolls are absolutely disgusting. They taste like they've been sitting there for hours. Perhaps this chocolate gâteau will make up for the poor quality of the food earlier. It looks delicious. Let's give it a go. Not bad. Then we're on our way. Thank you. So there we are, ATR 72-600, 68 passengers.
This flight is short. You barely have time to wolf down a cup of tea and some fudge from the friendly flight attendants before it's time to begin our descent. There's the traditional Air New Zealand lollies handed out, and you're making your way down to Auckland Airport on a beautiful afternoon. Grace can narrate for us.
Oh, that might be the warehouse down there where that bread is.
Yeah, I thought it was as well.
Touchdown soon. 3, 2, 1.
A bit longer.
Touchdown. 3, 2, 1.
I love that on the turboprops you get to step onto the tarmac at a pretty busy international airport. It's the middle of the day on Thursday. I'm wearing my sunglasses because we're trying a new app called Time Shifter. Some of you may have heard of it. Basically it allows you to adjust to different time zones when you're traveling internationally, and it has recommendations on exposure to sunlight, so your body goes into a more restful mode when you are in the dark. And so it suggests that even in the middle of the day here we should be wearing our sunglasses so that we can avoid exposure to light, so that by the time we get to Bangkok, the theory is we'll be adjusted to the time zone there. Okay, so we've made it out of the domestic terminal and we're now following the dreaded green line, as Grace calls it, to head all the way to the international terminal. Alright, so we have reached international departures. Here we are. We've already got our boarding passes all the way through to Bangkok. So we should just be able to go up and through airport security, our passport control, and then into the departure lounge on the other side. So we're about to enter the international departure passenger only area over here. So obviously I will turn off my camera once we get in there. Let's have a look and see how busy it is today, if it's busy or not. Last time we came through it was, it's pretty busy. So this looks like about a 20-minute wait probably to get through. We've made it through the very, very long queue for security and customs. Took us about 35, maybe 40 minutes. So now we're heading off to the airport lounge. This time we get to take Elizabeth with us, we're hoping. Last time it was Grace and I on our own, but we'll see how we get on this time. Let's check it out. Right, I always find that the Air New Zealand lounge is quite hidden away around the back here, but we're heading on up the escalator. It's almost like a secret place here in the back. Yes. Hi there. Right, thank you. Okay, we barely made it into the airport lounge here. We were probably there for 7 minutes, and then our flight's been called. Our first flight from Palmy up to Auckland was delayed, and so now we're having to dash off to the gate for our flight to Brisbane. Step 2 of the trip about to begin. Okay, so after another delay of about 25 minutes on our second flight, delayed for today, we are now boarding. Right, so we've arrived at our seat, and what's really cool, because I have Star Alliance Gold status, is you get noise cancelling headphones that you can use, which are not standard issue. If you're just traveling on typical economy class, you just get the standard headphones. Now there's a decent amount of legroom on the A321 that will be our home for the next 4 hours. But as we're seeing with most Air New Zealand planes these days, it's filthy down here, although hard to make out on the video. 20 minutes late, we're taking off from beautiful Auckland and winging our way to Brisbane. Soon, late lunch is being served. The food is really delicious. There are lots of in-flight entertainment options, and then there's the number one thing Air New Zealand has going for it: free in-flight Wi-Fi. So we've made it to Brisbane after another flight delayed a little bit, but it was a good flight. I quite enjoyed the food that we had, and now we've got 5 hours waiting here in Brisbane before our next flight. I've actually used this airport lounge before, and it's not bad, but the area out here is relatively uninteresting. Here we are at the Air New Zealand lounge. Unfortunately, although the opening hours say that they are open today from 3 p.m. to 10:35, they told us that they're closing for an hour to clean. Now it's great that they are cleaning given how filthy their airplanes are these days, but it's a little bit annoying that we basically got booted out of the lounge for an hour during their opening hours. But anyway, I'm going to use this opportunity to show you around Brisbane Airport a little. So here's a view down over the main concourse. For an international airport, it's actually relatively small. One thing that's really interesting, I think, is that when people start boarding their flights, they have to just board right here in the concourse, which is kind of a strange way to do it, I would have thought. Okay, so we finally made it into the Brisbane Air New Zealand Airport Lounge after they randomly closed for an hour. Then we came back in, having already checked with them that we could all get access because I'm a Star Alliance Gold member. And then the second time we came in, they said, oh no, we couldn't come in. And then she checked and she somehow thought we were on Qatar Airways rather than EVA Air. But anyway, we're in here now, so hopefully we can get some caffeine and have something to eat before our next flight, which is still almost 4 hours away. Less noisy and chaotic, the Brisbane Air New Zealand lounge blew the Auckland lounge away. Delicious food and super friendly and attentive serving staff. After what felt like a whole day of travel already, it was great to be able to hop in the shower and freshen up before our much longer flight to Taipei on EVA Air. The bathrooms were lovely, good quality toiletries and a great warm shower. Alright, it's 10 o'clock here in Brisbane, but it's already 1 a.m. in our body clocks, which is why this is what you're seeing. Grace being carried to the gate. I've got the easy job, I'm filming. Okay, so we're boarding at gate 82, just very near to the airport lounge, and they're about to start boarding. Star Alliance Gold members now, I think.
Come on board, 1 moment. Second aisle, please.
Right, thank you. Right, hi there. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. You're on
Thank
board.
you.
Sorry.
Okay, so we're down in row 36 now. We didn't get to choose our own seats here, and unfortunately these are the seats right next to the toilets. And yeah, they might recline. I think there is enough space for them to recline, so that's not too bad. Safety video done, and we're on our way. Now, if you're like me and you spend more time on the navigation screen than watching movies, you'll love the detail on EVA Air, but the movie selection was very limited, especially in English. The bathroom was tight, pretty standard, change table up here, but I did really like the good quality toiletries that stood out on this airline. We tried to sleep through most of the flight, so we'll keep our comments on the food options to the next EVA Air leg, and we were soon descending into Taipei, Taiwan, still in the dark at around 5 a.m. for an on-time arrival. We've arrived in Taipei. These are the absolute worst seats on the plane. Welcome to Taipei. So here we are on the airport terminal connection driverless train. It's chockers. Very full of people. Taiwan was my home for 6 years previously, and one of the hardest things to get used to when you first arrive is just how many people there are in small spaces. But after a while you find that it's you that's the one squeezing into the tight space in the train to actually fit all the people on board. Here's just an example of the number of people that you can expect to see. So we made it through transfer security here at Taipei Airport, and now it's a matter of waiting another 3 hours for our connecting flight to Bangkok, also on EVA Air. As I hear they say it, I always call it EVA Air, but they call it EVA Air. So we're heading up to the EVA Air lounge, and we're hoping that we'll all be able to get in. Not sure that we will. We'll see how we go. This airport is so much nicer than it was when I first moved here 25 years ago, but it's almost unrecognizable. Well, it turned out Elizabeth could not get access into the lounge, as I could only take one guest, and it wasn't an option to leave Grace alone in the main airport. The EVA Air lounge here in Taipei was busy but relatively quiet still on a Friday morning. There's showers and plenty of food options for Western and Asian palates. But this Haagen-Dazs ice cream selection was awesome. It's a big space and a decent walk to where Grace and I were sitting with our view out over the check-in concourse. Alright Grace, so we've spent our time in the EVA Air lounge. How did you find that?
It was fun. There was lots of ice cream.
That's great. What flavour of ice cream was your favourite there?
Green tea ice cream.
The green tea ice cream. Excellent. So now we're on our way downstairs again into the chaos to find Elizabeth, who unfortunately could not get access into the lounge with us. And we should see Elizabeth here somewhere. She was going to be waiting here for us, so hopefully we'll spot her. There she is. One really nice touch that they have here at the departure gates is that each departure gate has its own unique theme. So for example, you have this one over here. This is gate C9. You can see what the furniture looks like. It's all very airport loungy, very comfortable, not your typical seats that you see at a departure gate, but all the gates are different. So here we are at our gate, gate 8, and you can see that it is a movie set theme. So you've got all the movie theatre type seating, and you've got all these decorations that imply a movie set, which is really cool. And then down here at gate 7, where Elizabeth was waiting, we've got another very different theme to what we've seen at the others. So it's really cool. So as a Star Alliance Gold member, I have priority boarding with the family. So we're now boarding the EVA Air Boeing 777-300ER. We are all the way down in row 48, so not the greatest seats on the plane. Hi there. Okay, so we've made it to our seats in row 48. Much more legroom here than on the 787-10 that we were on previously. Huge amount of space to stretch out here. I can't even actually reach the bar underneath the seat in front of me. It's remarkable, eh? So this is the 777-300. So far, much better. Even the seat feels wider, but maybe I'm imagining.
No, it is because I'm not spilling over into Grace's seat.
Right, so much better experience without even having taken off yet. Alright, so we've just got our meals served on the flight to Bangkok. I've got the tea egg tofu, you've got your chicken over here, relatively small portion but looks delicious, and then your usual, you've got some salad, fruit. The bathroom was pretty tight, again with a great mix of toiletries here, baby change table and not much else. But it's only a 4-hour flight to Bangkok, so let me take my seat for landing. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, feel the heat. Alright, welcome to Bangkok. We've made it. You can smell the heat, you can smell the humidity. It's about 33 degrees here, they said, at the time we landed. And we finally made it after 29 hours, 4 flights. We've made it to our first actual holiday destination. And as it turned out, just in time to be caught up in a massive earthquake. Check out our video on that scary experience. Alright, so we've made it up to level 4, which is the giant departures hall. Everything here for the international terminal is one big terminal. They haven't built extra terminals the way that you see in other countries as airports have grown. So it really is a huge area. We're all the way down at S. Okay, so while I wait for the girls to complete their toilet stop, I'll just tell you a little bit about our seats. We're again on a Boeing 777-300ER. Our experience was flying on the 787 from Brisbane to Taipei, and then the 777 from Taipei here to Bangkok. And the 777 was actually a much better experience, much more leg room. We had much better seats, and they've put us in the same row again this time. Row 48, which is right in the middle over the wing, means I won't have the best views to film ourselves landing for you. Wow, so we've just made it through passport control and security. I don't know if it's the time of day or whatever, but so smooth, so quick, so easy. Security staff were really friendly. Auckland, Sydney, Brisbane, you've got a lot to learn. Los Angeles, a lot to learn about treating your customers well. We've made it into the international departures area, as I said earlier. It's a hive of activity here. It's really been modernized over the last few years. And Grace and I get to go to the airport lounge, EVA Air, because I have gold Star Alliance status. Unfortunately, again, Elizabeth doesn't get to join us, so I've handed her all our leftover cash and said, go knock yourself out. We've got to come down one level from the departures level, and hopefully we can find it. There's several down that way, as you can see, but ours is down this way, so let's go. So our monk counter is going up yet again. We must have seen
50 at least.
50 at least monks on this trip, so that's been really interesting to see.
Now whenever I see them, I just say monk counter 50 plus.
And here we are at the EVA lounge.
Are you coming or what?
Cool. Yeah, I'm coming. And we're in the lounge. Bangkok is one of EVA Air's 2 hubs, the other being Taipei, so they have very decent sized lounges in both locations and lots of help yourself food options, lots of different seating zones to relax in. The food is very well presented and is located in a few different areas. Again, there are Western and Asian food options to cater to their mix of guests. The lounge includes a business center, showers and even a massage chair area. But it's time for a Magnum ice cream and then to head off. Thank you. There was actually a priority queue, but we only saw it as we got to the very front, so we probably got to skip about 3 or 4 spots by heading into the priority queue. Hello. Thank you. Again, plenty of legroom over here. So definitely narrower seats than on the previous one because you've got the 3-4-3 pattern here, seating layout instead of 3-3-3. But you've still got this comfy pillow, you've got a thick blanket, and you've got these handy little headphones issued as standard. Again, you've got a great navigation screen, but limited movie and TV options. And you can buy internet access for $10 US, which is not as good as on Air New Zealand, where it's free. So we've only been in the air for about 25 minutes, and already here is the snack. It says it's delicious, we'll give it a go in a minute. And I'm just having it with apple juice. So these are the delicious crackers. They say they're delicious. I'll trust that they really are. Look how thin they are, but tasty. Yeah, very good, eh? Cottage pie on this London-bound flight. Looks amazing. Got all your fruit over here. Delicious looking salad with tuna, chicken, and then this dessert. It's another standard tight squeeze bathroom with decent toiletries from Teology. Second meal service on our EVA flight to London. So we've got an omelette over here, delicious fruit here with dragon fruit. Awesome. The cabin is sprayed to kill off any bugs before landing in London. It's 12 degrees here. It was 35 in the place we just left. Now you're going to want to join us on our 2 weeks in Europe across 3 countries. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified of every video as it drops. But this video is about the 3 airlines we're comparing. So let's get on to number 3. Qatar Airways has been rated the top airline in the world in the Skytrax survey, the latest one in 2024. It's also been named in the top 3 in the Condé Nast travelers' favorites. So we've never flown them before. We're going to check out today what they're like. The check-in process was pretty easy, bit of a queue, even though we did online check-in, and took a bit of time, but the guy was super friendly and helpful. And so we'll see what they're like today. We have made it through security. They were, again, super friendly here, just like they were at Nice Airport. They even have little things rate us on our friendliness, but they were efficient. Elizabeth's had a hip replacement, so she had to go through like 3 times before they realized that's what it was. And we've got amazing views down over the concourse here and of the world's greatest fast food joint over there. Now we're supposed to take a little train to Terminal T4S, so we'll find our way there now. So you've got to come down several floors to get the train down there to Terminal T4S. That's where Qatar departs from. So you check in Terminal 4, so if you've got flights departing at Terminal 4, check in at Terminal 4, but then you take the little train to Terminal 4S. Okay, we've made it onto the driverless train to head off to Terminal 4S. Yeah, because there's no driver when it came in.
Don't drink wine or cocktails on the train.
Okay, good advice, sage advice. Now, one big difference we've noticed between airports here in Europe and what we're used to in, say, the US or New Zealand, where we're from, or Australia, is that you actually go through security first and then passport control. It's the exact opposite way around to what we're used to. So we actually got caught out here. We came through security. We thought, oh, we're done with all the formalities. And then it was like, oh yeah, once we got over from being on the train, we then had to go through passport control. So it was a pretty quick process. Not very busy here today at all, which is surprising given how busy the city was. But we're now finally through. There's the duty free. That's how you know we are genuinely through. We are really liking Madrid airport so far. Everything feels very spacious. We traveled a really long way on that little mini train to get us to Terminal 4S, but everywhere you look, it feels like there's a lot of space. You don't feel like you're trying to dodge your way around people. There's plenty of food options, plenty of things to spend your last few euros on. So once again, we're seeing the Spanish queue chaos occur here at the airport. We're here at Qatar Airways. We've been here for quite a while. Boarding's meant to have commenced. They have cleverly thought to group passengers into 4 zones, but they've made no announcements about what's happening. So you just see people queuing up randomly over here again. And they obviously don't have a process for checking that passengers in transit have their boarding passes and passports checked. So now they're calling out people who have been in transit rather than checking them as they came into the secure area. So no one really knows what to do. We'll just sit here and wait until it's actually time to board. Today we are traveling again on a Boeing 777-300ER. So we should be well positioned over the wing on the left side, just a standard economy seat. But again, there's quite a lot of chaos on the boarding. They've now let us through, but they're not actually letting people onto the plane yet. A bit like our experience at Nice. Now Qatar is going to be a new destination for us. We've not been there before. We have been to Dubai, but we're really looking forward to visiting another new country together.
Please, thank you. Hi, Taipei. Welcome aboard, sir. Mr. Norman.
Thank you so much.
Hello, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Now the seat layout here is very similar to on the last 777. We flew on EVA Air. We've got the 3-4-3 formation. Some EVA Air planes have the 3-3-3, which of course allows for far more spacious seats. This is only a 6-hour flight, so it shouldn't matter too much. So here we are at our seats in row 35. I thought that 35 was over the wing, having looked at Seat Guru, but actually we're a lot further back than I thought. Now there's pretty limited legroom here on this Qatar Airways 777-300. The TV screen is okay, touch screen, but they still have the old style entertainment system controls as well. We have flown on a few airlines from predominantly Muslim countries before, but this is the first time I've seen the option to read the Quran in flight. You get a blanket and one of the minuscule pillows offered by most full-service long-haul services. There is a little towel to freshen up, which is a nice touch. So one really cool thing here is that you can't see what's playing on the screen next to you, which is really great if you're traveling with kids. We found on other airlines in New Zealand and so on that often, there'll be someone watching a really graphic movie in front of you or whatever, and your kids can all see that. Here it's a lot more difficult. So many in-flight announcements. As an under 12, Grace got this really cool bag. Hold it up, Grace. Very cool. Is there anything inside it? Show me.
Oh, I've got the invisible pen.
What else? Anything else?
Let's get everything out. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
That's
it's
cool.
amazing. Very cool.
Some games.
And some other stuff too.
Pull stuff out. Show Dad.
What's this?
Cool.
Oh.
Qatar Airways is rolling out Starlink on all aircraft, but on this flight, you had to buy your Wi-Fi access for $10 US.
I literally wanted spaghetti bolognese like desperately. So
Yeah, we did. We discussed it at length, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm having some cranberry juice over here. I've got my bread over here. I've got a salad here that looks quite good. I've got a yummy looking dessert with chocolate mousse at the bottom. And then this is my main beef polenta. Looks lovely. Time for the bathroom tour. This is probably the biggest bathroom I have ever seen on a plane, certainly on economy class. More mirrors than a cheap hotel, even on the back of the baby change table. Toiletries were pretty limited, but not bad all round. But we're landing into Doha soon, so let me get back to my seat.
Thank you. Only we'd worked harder.
Excited, Grace?
Thank you.
Thank you. So what did you like most about that flight, Grace?
All the food that they serve you like unlimited amounts of food.
Yes.
To the point of where you just don't feel sick because you eat so much.
And lots to drink, right? Very friendly staff as well, eh? Very good. Okay, so the carpet smells brand new as well.
Oh, that's
So we are now going to go through all the formalities and then try and get a taxi. We're staying at the Ramada Encore by Wyndham, so we'll bring you a review of that as well. Check it out. Because Doha is such an international hub, a lot of passengers are just in transit here to get on their next flight to wherever they're going. And so their signage is really bad if you're actually arriving. We literally haven't seen a sign yet saying this way for arrivals. We've seen all the transit TVs saying where your connection might be leaving from, but we had to ask someone if this is the right way to go. So hopefully it is the right way. Still no sign of an actual sign that says baggage claim or passport control or anything like that. This airport feels brand new, but unlike the Spanish airports, it doesn't have very good signage at all. This is for connections over here. We don't want connections, we want to go into Qatar. All right, Grace, we couldn't find our arrivals area, so this very helpful man is taking us on the golf cart. I won't take a photo of you. It's a pretty amazing airport. So much to see. Beautiful. Look at the shape of the glass. Amazing. Another amazing hall here. Still being driven. We wouldn't have any idea where we were going otherwise. I don't know how we Assistant staff at Doha, like our Pakistani golf cart driver, were super friendly, but immigration staff were the slowest and rudest we have ever experienced in travel to dozens of countries, really letting Qatar down. An hour and 45 minutes after landing, we made it into our taxi and headed to our hotel. Now you're going to want to subscribe to see our upcoming videos of our experiences in Europe and Qatar. But 3 days later, we were back at the airport. It is 1 a.m. Our flight back to Auckland, the world's third longest flight, is at 3:50 a.m. So in 2 hours and 50 minutes, we were told by the airline, Qatar Airways, to leave 3 hours, get to the airport 3 hours in advance. That's exactly what we've done. Unlike when we arrived, which was an absolute disaster in terms of the time it took, this took us approximately 10 minutes to do our bag drop, go through security, go through passport control. Staff at passport control were as rude and unhelpful as everywhere at this airport, but everyone else, who's actually sort of ground staff and service staff, super friendly. The Qatar Airways staff, again, super friendly and helpful, chatty even at 12:50 or so in the morning when we got there. So they are fantastic so far. Now Doha Airport, or Hamad International Airport, its official name, actually serves over 200 destinations. And you look at the departures board and you'll see, for example, we're just having a look at a random time. We picked 2 o'clock in the morning and there were 7 Qatar Airways flights to international destinations. Obviously Qatar's a very small country, they're not going to have a lot of domestic flights here, but 7 international departures, all leaving just at 2 o'clock. And over the next 2.5 hours, there's probably about 55 flights on Qatar Airways to overseas destinations. They all leave at this crazy time of the day, and that's of course because we're here in a hot climate. So when you're in a desert climate, or places like Singapore, even with the tropical climate, lots of flights leave in the middle of the night, not only because of the distances they go, but because it's better for takeoff and landing. So the check-in person said our flight might be delayed. We don't see that on the board yet. Weirdly enough, it shows our flight time in the normal white at 3:50 a.m. and then immediately under shows the same time, 3:50 a.m. but in red. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad sign, we'll see. But we're down at the B range of gates, so we're going to head down this way just to find somewhere to sit, because down here on the main concourse there's absolutely nowhere to sit, which I'm sure is by design. They don't want you sitting down here getting in everyone's way. I don't see Macca's here. I see Bulgari, Dolce & Gabbana, Omega, Hublot, Tiffany & Co, Burberry, but I don't see any cheap low street brands around here. Now, in terms of getting to and from the airport, I noticed in my Uber app that I could not book an Uber for our arrival here while overseas, and that is probably just as well given the ridiculously long amount of time it took us to clear immigration and customs here. But on the way back now, here at sort of 12:30 in the morning, I just booked on Uber, and the price is about half what it cost me to take a taxi when we arrived. So it cost me about 24 Qatari Riyals, so that's about, what's that, 12 New Zealand dollars, about $7.50 US. So I know I'm going to be sitting for 16 hours. The girls are taking it easy, but I have walked, I don't know, over a kilometre, probably a mile, literally, to this area over here, inside the airport, the orchard they call it. It's just a place with green space and quiet where you can go and walk around or sit down and relax while you are waiting for your flight. So let's check it out. It's pretty amazing in here. I'll keep my voice down. Other people are here to relax. Wow, it's really incredible. They've got perhaps piped in bird sound here. I doubt it's real birds, but you never know. Could be anything in here. Sounds amazing. And you've got your views down here. Quite beautiful, and of course at this time of the morning people aren't feeling particularly energetic. Generally it's now only just after 2 a.m. so I've got this whole place to myself. Check it out. Pretty amazing. And then it all went pear-shaped. I got 2 emergency texts from Elizabeth telling me that Grace now had the food poisoning Elizabeth was just getting over. It's an hour until our 16-hour flight boards, and our child is bathroom bound, a parent's worst travel nightmare. Thankfully, the Qatar medical system is so much better than what we have at home. I found a pharmacy right by our boarding gate where a super helpful man gave us metronidazole, a quick-acting antibiotic that would require a doctor's prescription back home. Unbelievably, by the time of boarding, the miracle medicine was working and Grace was already feeling so much better. The flight's been delayed by 30 minutes. That was signaled when we checked in, but anticipated arrival time in Auckland is still on time, so we'll see if they can do that. Let's check it out. And there's our pilot. So today we're flying on the A350-1000. It's got a mix of business class and economy seats. We're in row 25, directly over the wing, so 25 A, B and C. Let's check it out. Hi there.
Thank you. Sorry.
Oh, so here we are in 25 A and C. I'm in the window seat today, and just here looking out over the wing. We have a very long way to go, but I love the unusual views you get from the onboard cameras on this plane. It's a plane junkie's highlight to see technicians preparing the plane for pushback and takeoff. Here we go. Some amazing views over Doha from the onboard camera, but once again, no Wi-Fi unless you fork over $10. Now on a long flight, you're looking at 2 meals plus snacks, so let's get into it. First meal, dinner, breakfast, who knows? Came with yogurt, so I'm picking breakfast, maybe brunch. I had the Japanese chicken. It came with fruit, a drink of your choice, and I love how even the lids on the yogurt and fruit are stylishly branded. Time for a bathroom stop, and again I was surprised how big the Qatar Airways bathroom feels. Pretty basic toiletries again, but clean and so spacious. But it must be time for another snack. So we've been on the flight now for about 8 hours, and they're serving a snack. It is a chicken tikka pastry, and it looks really good. Tastes really good. Check out the wind speed here over Australia, about 2/3 through our trip, but you guessed it, it's time for more food. I guess you'd call this dinner. We're maybe 13 hours in and it's around midnight over Australia. I had the beef. The chocolate mousse was beautifully presented and tasted spectacular, again with the drink of your choice and garlic bread. The food and drink menu for the 16-hour flight is something to behold. Check out the options and especially the seemingly endless list of drink options. This mousse is absolutely amazing. So good. Right, welcome to Auckland. We have made it back. Now, I managed to find an extra 3 seats to have to myself. The plane was not very full, so I'm just going to wait out here for Grace and Elizabeth. Now, in case you were wondering, we gave Grace her follow-up medications and she had no further complications. But what are our thoughts on these 3 full-service airlines? Let's tackle them in reverse order, starting with Qatar Airways. So friendly and impeccable service. All 3 meals plus snacks on our flights were amazing. We loved the goodie bag for under 12s. Big bathrooms. Staff seemed to genuinely love their jobs and we valued the on-time flights. Boarding was chaotic in Madrid, but much better in Doha. The one big negative is that the Wi-Fi at the time we traveled was still at an extra cost, but it's hard to argue against Qatar Airways' great customer rating. Next up, it's EVA Air. Excellent on-time performance on all 3 flights. We loved the lounges in Taipei and Bangkok. I wouldn't describe the staff as friendly so much as task-oriented and very efficient. The food was great here too, and if you are fortunate enough to fly the 333 seat layout 777-300, there is oodles of space. A pity Wi-Fi was at an extra cost, but I believe this is also changing. Again, it's hard to fault EVA Air, and its top 10 airline rating seems reasonable. I've left Air New Zealand to last because unfortunately the experience during and after our flights have let us down badly. The airline has some real on-time performance issues. In fact, on domestic regional flights, it's gotten to the point where many flyers are nervous to fly the same day if they have connections or business meetings because flights have become so unreliable. The aircraft are filthy. A good vacuum and a thorough clean is in order. The Air New Zealand lounge in Palmerston North and in Brisbane were lovely and staff were friendly, but the international lounge in Auckland is a zoo. Cabin crew are friendly, and a real feature of Air New Zealand's international aircraft is the free onboard Wi-Fi. They're leaders in this regard, and the food was really good. But our troubles with Air New Zealand continued after getting home. We had booked Star Alliance flights on EVA Air to earn points with Air New Zealand. I even used the handy calculator on the Air New Zealand website to work out how many points we would earn. When our points were not credited, I put in a claim for missing miles. Air New Zealand rejected our claim within hours, stating that the airline partner, i.e. EVA Air, had denied my claim. This is entirely false. I followed up with EVA Air, who confirmed they did not reject my claim, but that Air New Zealand had rejected it. I lodged a further claim with Air New Zealand, which they took 4 weeks to process, although during that time, 2 separate agents I spoke to told me that my claim would be processed and the points would accrue before they once again denied my claim. Again, Air New Zealand was very loose with the truth, blaming EVA Air, which is simply not true. I followed up a 3rd time, spending 40 minutes on the phone with Air New Zealand, at which time the agent admitted that it was Air New Zealand who had rejected the claim, as they did not give points on that booking class. It was not EVA Air denying the claim at all, but Air New Zealand still continues to claim this, meaning we have missed out on renewing our Star Alliance Gold membership. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Drop your comments below on your best airline experiences and how those compare to what we've shown you here. We'll speak again soon. Take care.